Hi, everybody. All right, so now I'm on section three. A polymer, I'm just going to get right to it. But I do want to say, I'm really, really missing you guys. I really wish I could see your faces. Maybe next week or maybe Friday, we can do a Zoom meeting just so we can see each other's faces. And y'all can tell me what's working, what's not, and what's not. All right, so or email me if you have trouble, if your things aren't working for you. Okay. I can kind of see from your quizzes, you guys have to review your notes and read your book before you go and answer the questions. Okay. And you cannot Google the questions, you cannot share the questions. I can tell when questions are Googled. The problem with that is those answers are not going to be on your test. What's going to be on those questions are things from your study, from these notes right here, and from your book. So don't Google it. Don't waste your time. And the questions are very blatant from our notes. I'm not getting hidden answers. These are from your notes. All right, so polymers. The word poly means many. The word monomer, like mono, means one. So a polymer is a large molecule that forms when many smaller molecules are linked together by a covalent bond. Okay, this is like that heart chain that I had at the front of my room. Okay, or like a paper chain like you make at Christmas. Okay, the entire chain is a polymer. Okay, each little bitty heart or each little bitty chain is a monomer. So the smaller molecules that join together to form a polymer are monomers. So like a train. Let's say we have a 22 car train, okay? Each car is a monomer. The entire length of the train that's making our car stop is a polymer, okay? So a polymer is the entire length of it, and each little part of it, each little link is a monomer, okay? So, polymers can be classified as natural polymers or synthetic polymers. Natural means that it naturally occurs, and synthetic are man made or lab made. Okay, so we have three synthetic polymers: rubber, nylon, and polyethylene. Okay, and you'll notice on poly means many, eth means two carbons, and ene means that it has at least one double bond between the carbons. Okay, let me go ahead and stop for a minute. An alkane means that between the carbons, they only have single bonds. So between this carbon and this carbon, they can have 8 carbons, but they're all going to be single bonds between the carbons. An alkene means that they're going to have at least one double bond between the carbons. Okay, and an alkyne with the Y means that they have to have at least one triple bond. Okay, it can have all triple bonds, but it has to at least have one triple bond. Alkene means alkane means single bonds between the carbons. Alkene means double bonds between the carbons, and an alkyne means that there's at least one triple bond. Okay, sorry to get off of that. All right, so let's talk about rubber first. Rubber is actually started as a natural polymer that comes from a rubber tree, but rubber trees can't keep up with ours, so we had to make a synthetic version of rubber. This is made from hydrocarbons, which means hydrogen and carbons, and it's from petroleum, okay, which is a fossil fuel. Half of the rubber produced in the world is used for tires. That's just a little extra. Okay, so we know everything that's rubber: tires. Of course, now I can't think of one thing that's rubber. Um, the bumpers of our cars, stuff like that, are rubber. Okay, the next one is nylon. A lot of you have like those backpacks that are the string backpacks. Those are nylon. You have windbreakers, there's nylon. So this is a synthetic polymer to replace silk, which was a natural polymer. It has properties not found in natural polymers. Silk is very nice. It's pretty strong, but it's not as strong as nylon, which is strong, durable, and shiny. Okay, my bunnies are in the background making a lot of noise. Um, so nylon is now a synthetic version of silk, and nylon can be used for parachutes, windbreakers, fishing lines, carpets, and ropes. If you ever go to the lake or something, you see those yellow ropes that are kind of shiny. Those are nylon ropes, and they're very strong, durable, they're shiny. Okay. The next synthetic polymer is polyethylene, which again, poly means many, eth means that there's two carbons, and then the ene means that they have double bonds between the carbons. This polymer forms when ethene or ethylene molecules link head to tail. And there's a picture of this in your book in chapter 3. Please go look at it. The number of carbon atoms in the polyethylene chain affects the properties of the polymer. So the more carbon atoms in a chain, so like if it's not ethylene with just two carbons, but let's say that there's like, I don't know, 8 carbons, it's going to be stronger, okay? So some examples of polyethylene are plastic milk bottles, plastic wrap, and plastic shapes. So think of plastic wrap and how easy that is, okay, like saran wrap. And then you think of like plastic milk bottles, which you can crush, and then a plastic shape like a Mr. Potato Head or something. Those get harder, okay? And the backs of your chairs, even though you guys break them all the time, they're actually really hard. So that's going from like less carbons to more carbons. The softer plastic wrap to the backs of your chairs, plastic shapes, more carbons, okay? Those are synthetic. So synthetic is polyethylene, nylon, and rubber, okay? Now, the natural polymers, there's 4 of them. They're in plant and animal, okay? So this would be examples of starches, cellulose, nucleic acids, and proteins, okay? The first one is starches. Simple sugars are C6H12O6, which is glucose, okay? They can exist as straight chains or rings, and simple sugars, glucose and fructose, can react to form sucrose, which is table sugar. So fructose is just natural sugar from fruit. Glucose is natural sugar that we get from plants and stuff, or our bodies. They can actually become sucrose, which is table sugar. Simple sugars, slightly more complex sugars such as sucrose, and polymers built from sugar monomers are all classified as carbohydrates. So when we say carbs, that really just means sugars, okay? So this means like simple sugars like fructose or glucose, and this also means like sucrose. So carbs are basically sugars. All right, the next one is cellulose. The carb cellulose is actually a carbohydrate because it's made up of glucose. But cellulose is the main component in cotton and wood. The most abundant of all organic compounds are found in nature is cellulose. And cellulose gives strength to plant stems and tree trunks. Most animals cannot digest cellulose. When we eat celery, we don't digest that very well. That ends up being the bulk of our poop. It's called fiber, okay? Dogs don't digest corn, okay? We don't either, really. We mush it up enough that it hides in our poop, but all cellulose comes out of us as bulky poop, okay? It's fiber. It's good for us, okay? The next one is a nucleic acid, okay? These are molecules in which each cell of a plant or animal that store information about its structure and functions. These molecules are nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are large nitrogen-filled polymers found mainly in the nuclei of cells. We have 2 types of nucleic acids, deoxyribonucleic acid or ribonucleic acid. So DNA or RNA are nucleic acids. Deoxyribose nucleic acid and ribonucleic acid. So DNA and RNA are examples of nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are your polymers. Okay, so they're a big long chain. DNA is a big long chain. DNA is made up of little bitty things called monomers, which are called nucleotides. And these monomers in DNA or RNA all have in common a phosphate group, a sugar, and one of the 4 organic bases, adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. Okay, there's a picture in your book. Please look at these pictures. Okay, so nucleic acids, the polymer is DNA or RNA. Okay, the monomers are nucleotides. All right, the next one is proteins. Organic acids contain a carboxyl group, COOH, which is organic acid, and an organic base, or an amine, which is NH2 group. When you put those together, you have an amine group and you have an acid group. That means an amine acid. Amino acid. So this is where one substituted hydrocarbon group that contains both groups. So it's a substituted hydrocarbon with one carboxyl and then an amine group. Okay? The amino acid is both a compound that contains both carboxyl and amine functional groups in the same molecules. Now, we need about 20 amino acids for our body to function. And your cells use amino acids as monomers to construct protein polymers. Okay? So all the amino acids in our body go together in a chain to make a protein. Protein is our polymer, and then each little bitty chain is going to be an amino acid to make a protein. A protein is a polymer in which at least 100 amino acid monomers are linked through bonds between an amino acid and a carboxyl group, and your body may contain as many as 300,000 different proteins, okay? So please make sure before you answer your questions today that you know what the synthetic polymers are, you know what the natural polymers are, you know which ones the monomers are, and you know which ones the polymers are. Because I can bet, I haven't even made the quiz up yet, but that's what I'm going to ask you, okay? Monomers are the individual links, and polymers are the big long chain, okay? Think of a Christmas when you do those construction paper, okay? Each little circle that you glue together is a monomer. The whole chain of when you do those circles and you glue them together is your polymer. Okay? Bye, guys. See you later.